Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. Why is this so blurry when we are in first person mode? I do not know. I do not. There appears to be... What are they? Oh, that's our power over there. There appears to be like no settings to remove this blurriness. It's really bad, isn't it? It is really bad. Anyway, welcome back to another episode. This episode is going to be a short one. It's also going to be our last episode as well, as I've decided the series has sort of come to its natural conclusion now. I was going to sort of tour the city in first person mode, but considering just how bad that looked right there, I think it would be wiser to just fly around and have a look at things manually like this while I talk about why the series has sort of come to an end. So, first of all, I really love playing this game. It's been really fun. I had a great time on this series, but the big thing that's made it difficult for me to continue enjoying it is the snow, believe it or not. A lot of things that we've been trying to do, or that I've been wanting to do, have really been affected by this snow. It's surprisingly limiting what having it has, because you can't really do like natural green fields and farmlands and things like that. A lot of stuff gets lost to the snow. But as well as that, when you try and use custom assets, they're covered in snow too. And this is just ridiculous. This looks awful, doesn't it? And for that reason, you know, I want to start a new world, really. One with green fields. But I might not do that on YouTube, because this series hasn't been terribly popular. I'm aware of that. Views is obviously an important thing when you're doing... those buildings just look ridiculous next to each other. Pop soda. Yeah, views are obviously an important thing when you do YouTube for a living. However, the way I've seen it is that I have such a good time playing this. It doesn't take a lot of time to play. And it's a good balance between like this and Minecraft. There's nothing else that I really want to play at the moment on the channel. Oh wow, we've got some traffic backing up here. Let's go investigate. And because of that, it means that oh wow, it goes all the way around there. Oh, and then it just sort of stops there. Interesting. Yeah, because there isn't anything else that I particularly want to play with the time, and it's good to balance like playing Minecraft with another game, because if you play Minecraft a lot, you know, you want to have something else to look forward to playing to as well. And so it's been good going back and forth between the two games, and I'm probably going to continue doing that if I play like in a private world or something like that. As for doing this on YouTube though, like I said, the views are low, I'm aware, but it feels like a good balance. There's nothing else I particularly want to upload at that time, and I really enjoy playing this game in between Minecraft. So it all sort of works out pretty well for me, you know, it's a nice balance to go between the two. Yeah, and like I said, it's the snow that's sort of holding me back. That's an interesting looking building. As you go around the city here and look at things closer up, you do see a lot of like the same old buildings. That one I don't think I've seen too many times before. And look, there you go. Speaking of seeing the same building, just one to the next over there. Yeah, so it is the like the green area that I want to play on, basically. And I've been like paying attention to the city that I live in as I've been traveling around it, and noticing that City Skylines probably looks more like a big American city, or maybe a European city, than it does the sort of place that I live in. And I've been paying attention to how, like, when you have a school, you always have like a big field with it, and I mean really big, like way bigger than the school. So where are our schools? Let's go have a look. I'm just clicking on it without thinking. It's this one here. Why is it so difficult? Right, so, you know, a school here is just like in the middle of this street, whereas where I live, this school would have multiple buildings, it would have a massive field, it would take up a really large amount of space. And if you try and do that stuff with the snow, it just ends up looking ugly in my opinion. And this area must have produced a fair bit of pollution. How do we see the pollution? Let's go over our vitals. Let's see how the city is after we've been on it for so long. And let's start off with perhaps going through the statistics. So there's population. It's interesting how it dipped off a little bit and came back up as we expanded. It could probably hold a fair few more people, but you know, ups and downs is part of how it works. Taxation, that's how much money we get from tax income. City value, wow, 20 million. Is that it? 20 million for all of that. That seems unreasonably low. The city budget just gets higher over time. The treasury, up and down, that's the amount of money that we have stored. So the most we ever had stored was just over 4 million. Interesting to see. The influx, yep. The birth rate. Oh, I had a big spike of births right there. And death rate. Yeah, look, they come in spikes as well. That's when you get those like mass exoduses when people start buying. So employment percentage, generally in every game I played, like 97% is as high as you get it. And the available jobs sort of shows you the efficiency, I guess, that you've got tons and tons of buildings, but perhaps not enough people, which is interesting given that the demand here is for more industries than people, right? Yet there's a stupid amount of available jobs. Education, students. Another thing to point out with this is that I was really just focusing on building, having fun, and doing whatever I felt like, rather than managing the perfect city. So I'm not too bothered about some of these stats probably not being as great as they could be. And yeah, as you'd expect, a lot of these, those ones haven't been expanded, but offices have, I guess, instead. And prisoners, we got prisoners in our city. And we got cyclists too. Of course, we started with a lot more because the first area here is all cycle paths. You can see the green bits, they're cycle tracks. There's lots of them in this area, all over the place. Oh, maybe not these ones. Oh, maybe I forgot about them at times as well. Yeah, there you go, there's some more. But then when we expanded beyond this, we didn't have the cycle tracks. Yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, like the schools and stuff, housing as well. I think this stuff down here looked really good. Maybe not the high buildings in the middle, but like where we've got the smaller buildings. This looks much more like where I live, and I was thinking about the back gardens, which we experimented with a little bit over here. So I wanted to do some stuff that made it look more realistic, and when I came on here and tried out a few ideas, generally just ended up looking odd because of all the snow. So you can't turn off the snow. I've had plenty of comments about that. It's not possible. It might be possible with a mod, but as far as I could tell, it's sort of stuff. So anyway, we're going to go through the city vitals. That one's not particularly interesting. Neither will that one be, or this one. Oh, I'll tell you something we never actually got round to finishing. Was this right here. How do I turn that off for a second? That's terrible. In fact, actually, we can finish that right now, I think. Isn't one of these off? Right, so if we turn that on, then we should see a massive spike in the amount of power that we have. Our budget might disappear as well. Let's bring up the vitals, electricity. Can we now destroy all of these? Do they also serve a purpose? They do, look. Look, they connect power, so I'm going to quickly reroute that. Glad I remembered that, actually. That would have caused the problem, wouldn't it? There you go, connect to that part of the grids, and then we can destroy some of these. So yeah, I was going to build a power facility, and I did, didn't I? Because we've got the nuclear power, so... Oh, look at that, the power's shot all the way up. We might be able to get rid of these completely. Which would be great because they look ugly. Yeah, I should just tap enter with this. I think we're going to get away with deleting all of them. Yep, we are going to get away with all of them. So 2 nuclear power plants for the entire city, right? I think that's literally it, and they're going to benefit from that. Awesome. So that is kind of everything done. Oh, I did want to build a sewage system as well. You know how we've got one of the refinery things over here? I wanted to create a little system using terraforming where you create little lakes for the water to go in and sort of recycle it entirely, but whatever, there's a ton of pollution over there. So going through our city vitals here. By the way, there isn't going to be a world download because it takes a bit of time to create all of that stuff. The world download and the list of all the different assets that you'd need to play it. And I know some of you would really want to open the world and have a look around yourself, but this time I just feel like I'm not going to have the time to organise that. It takes a fair few hours, and I'm always making lots of videos and doing all sorts of things. I'm not quite sure. Right, this is, so the darker the better by the looks of it. So over here you can see a lot of the buildings, although some of them are offices. Actually, they're all sort of dark as it can get. What about down here? So some of these, yeah, look at that. Right, so over here they're much darker than there, so they're not quite as developed. Oh, do you know what I don't think I ever built around this area was a crematorium. Nope, we'll put one over the end here. Here's another bit that I didn't actually really finish. This bit, I just chucked down a couple of random things in the stream, and one of those was a football pitch. Yeah, again, it looks awful. That's something I love to do, like we did over here, is with the football stadiums, just build a whole complex. But again, covered in snow, looks ridiculous. Yeah, so where did we get up to? We got up to education, then we got up to that one. Okay, so winds, yeah, not terribly interesting. Traffic, how did traffic work out? This area up here, there's a couple of spots. Sometimes this gets quite heavily backed up, I've noticed, but in general I'd say that's pretty reasonable. These bits over here are nothing to worry about, that's just got lots of cars coming through them. And yeah, it's all pretty good. Again, that red bit is just because there's a lot of traffic. And you know, it's looking really good actually. Overall, the traffic's been pretty reasonable. This bit here has always been a bit hectic, it can back up a bit. And then we've got the problem here, that's a big problem really. And oh, they're out power, what have I done? I've made a mistake. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We anticipated this and I got it wrong. Okay, now that's all going to get their power back. Don't you worry about it. There you go. Let's change the time of day and keep looking around. So, yep, traffic over here is good. That's a bit of a false. That can get backed up, but for some reason it just goes very red when the cars go through it, even though there's only a small amount. So in general it works out pretty good. This right here, never got the hang of it. Tried a few different things. The big problem is just here, where they decide to change lanes. It always backs up. But otherwise I think it's a really cool idea. It just didn't quite work out. Never know why the oil fields didn't really take off. Guess there's not as much demand for that. Over here, not really that bad either, is it? Some of the train lines look a little bit busy. Going up into this area then, there's a lot of traffic through here. It gets a little bit congested in places, and no surprise to see these crossroads. But, you know, no major backups, nothing too terrible really. And I'm pretty happy with how all of that's turned out actually. We definitely learnt a lot. I was discussing this on the stream, that I was starting to pick up like little nuances about how to lay out the roads and where to put the turnings like we did over here, but I still haven't fully figured out traffic. If I play in another world, I imagine I'll have a lot more fun with laying out the traffic. So public transport really wasn't utilised well. We got a subway system here, we got a few bus lanes going back and forth, you know, a couple over there. Not really too much in these areas at all. A couple of ring roads. I think one of those got destroyed. Yeah, when we rebuilt this area, I think one of these paths got destroyed, so now the buses sort of go unnecessarily around there. So public transport definitely neglected. There's like one bus line over here, and there's some subways that lead over to this area. You can see actually though, a lot of citizens are using the public transport, which is cool. Nice to see. Okay, then we have population. Yep, that's those numbers and stuff. 102,000, whatever. Outside connections, importing goods is what we do a lot of, because we're not producing them ourselves. We export a lot of oil, agriculture and ore. So that's interesting. That do you know what? We probably don't have any industry in the city that is just normal industry. So those things get exported rather than creating goods. This is quite telling. This is something I've not paid enough attention to before. If we're importing an absolute massive amount of goods, it's because we're not producing them. And where I've done the different industries, these are things that you would usually import to produce goods, but we export them because we don't really have any normal industry at all. I don't think there's one regular industry building. Then we've got land value over here. So high land value where the roads are. That's just the amount of parks really, isn't it? And like this is very high because we've got loads of parks to create the area down the end. That's probably the highest bit in the entire city over there. And I think we did a pretty good job of keeping up the land value. Obviously these are like the slums area. Then we've got the natural resources. Very cool. Some oil over there. And then oil and our ore. This one is just the districts. That's like a different view from clicking on this, isn't it? Yeah. I like that one. That one's a little bit clearer, I think. And we named all of these as well, with the exception of Elm District, which will just stay as Elm District now. Then leisure, tons of parks everywhere, not so much over here. In the slums area, we have terrain heights. Wow, look at that. Contours over the terrain. We've got a heating map, our road maintenance map. Oh, look at this. Some of these areas down here don't really get reached. Now, when we started this city, I noticed that there would be like snowy... Oh, do you know what? In an attempt to disable the snow, I disabled weather. And I think when I did that is when it stopped. There used to be like these periods when snow would come down and then all of your tracks would get the freezing marker over them and they'd need sorting out. And then that stopped happening. And it just dawned on me that it was because I changed the weather. So where we had the road maintenance stuff, that essentially wasn't needed after a while, because I used to place them out to cover all of those roads, because it would pop up and it would remind you, oh, I need to sort out road maintenance, right? And then we do this area and they don't have that problem, so we don't need a road maintenance vehicle. However, you know, obviously we would at some point, and the place to put it, I reckon, would be just down in this area. Except we'll put it actually out here. There you go. It's a little bit off, and now that covers that area down there. So another building on the map, and snow on roads. Yeah, that's what we don't have any of now, because because yeah, like I just described, all of that. And there we go. That is the city. That is T-Town. I've had a great time playing on this one. I do hope you have enjoyed it. I will probably continue playing on a normal world by myself. No idea if I'll make another series. I want to just try a couple of other things for a while on YouTube, see how it goes. We might come back with another series in the future. So I want to say thank you for all of the support. I hope you've enjoyed the series and this world. I've had a great time building it, like I said, and I'm going to continue playing this in my own time. But anyway, that is it from me, signing off for this series of City Skylines. Thank you for coming along and watching these videos and hanging out with me. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.